Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a knitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. I am a knitwear designer and here I talk about all of my fiber arts things. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're doing very well. I am. I have a little episode for you this time with mainly socks, a bit of color work, and I wanted also to show you some pretty fibers and yarns that I recently got at an event. In the beginning of September, I went to a yarn shop in Grenoble in France for the birthday of Lanae Tricot, which is a yarn shop there, and I went there and hauled some pretties. So I very rarely do hauls now, but I thought once in a while, why not? And try and give you some color, inspiration and brightness. Yes, it's gonna be a rather bright episode, it seems. And yeah, so I'm going to start right away. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything or to find a project in particular, feel free to look at that. I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and my patterns for sale on different platforms. Yay! I'm going to start with socks, and it is a sock design that I just published on Ravelry and PeachyB, and these are socks that I knitted a while ago. I think I knitted them back in February, and I let them be for a while. And these are the Quetzal socks. So they're a cuff down pair of socks that were totally inspired from a pair of socks that Ana de Armas wears in the movie Knives Out. I'm sure you've seen that movie. It was a big success. It's kind of a old-fashioned, a bit absurd, humoristic thriller with great knitwear in it. And at some point, the main character, I think her name was Charlotte, I'm not sure. I don't know why I think it's Charlotte. I don't think it is. I don't know. But she wears, you see that she wears a pair of socks and sneakers, and so you don't see them so well because like it's socks. And apparently art directors in movie think that it's not relevant to showcase the socks that their characters are wearing. Like, so weird, right? And, but I really liked them. They were this ribbed socks with some sort of a geometric abstract color work on the top. And so I decided to try and make an interpretation of it. So obviously you have to like adapt things, because when things are machine knitted, you don't get the same gauge, you don't get the same possibilities as when you're hand knitting, but this is what I ended up with. And so, yeah, they're cuffed down, and basically you start with a 3x1 cuffed rib, and then you have this abstract motif. Some people have told me it reminds them of Mondrian's art, which I see it too. And basically, so you use 3 colors here, and if you have never done 3 colors color work, breathe in, breathe out, it's okay. It's not something that is difficult. It can be fiddly if you, like me, knit two-handed color work, and so you only have 2 hands. So I need two-handed color work because I don't like to drop the yarn and take it back. And so if I have a third color, the way I knit, I do have to drop one color and take the other. But you can use a ring that has a color work ring. I think it's called a Norwegian symbol as well sometimes, I'm not sure. That allows you to hold several threads in one hand. Or if you're, depending on how you knit, because I knit like this pretty much, so I only have 2 fingers. But I know a lot of people, especially the people who knit continental mostly, or those who flick, you tend to have other fingers up, and so you can hold several colors in one hand. So you just need to figure out the way to do it, but it is not something that's difficult to do at all. And this is a good way to try your hand at it, because it's on a small scale since it's a sock, and it's only 12 rounds. So it's short. And the fact that the motif is so random, it means that in case you have some issues with your tension and it's not quite perfect, well then it's gonna be hidden. And if you have a blip that's wrong, it's gonna look intentional because it's purposefully random. And so yeah, that's a good way to try 3-color color work. I had beginners that have never made color work or color work socks in my testers, and it went well. The thing is, you need to figure out your tension when you're knitting color work socks. My advice is do not do magic loop, because like, even if you are comfortable with color work in general, in magic loop it's a bit annoying to not have tension issues, and there are tips to avoid it. You change the place where you do the magic loop, you catch your threads in a certain position, but it's never perfect, and it's a bit annoying to be honest. So I really advise people to just knit on mini circulars for the colorwork section. So, you know, if you've wanted to knit colorwork socks, but you can't do mini circulars for the whole socks, well, there's just a little bit here, a little bit of fun at the start, a little bit of a challenge that's not really a challenge, because you'll see it's easy once you've figured out your size. The pattern tells you like how to get the right needle size. Basically, like any small colorwork accessory, knit a few rows, try it on, and then adjust if necessary. And yeah, the pattern has this little bit of colorwork here, and then it's only 3x1 rib, and you can adjust your size here. So if you're someone who sometimes struggle because the socks that fit your ankles are not the right size for your foot, or vice versa, here you can adjust it. Here, the pattern gives you instructions on how to change sizes, so you can move from one to the other. And since this is ribbing, it's gonna be a little bit more forgiving as well. So yeah, cuff down, like I said, you have two heel options. Two heel options. I keep doing it, I don't know why. Either the heel flap and gusset, the traditional one like here, or the German short row heel, if you prefer that. And yeah, then you have the 3x1 rib on the top of the foot until the toe, and yay! So, oh, also, something I realize I never say, my sock patterns are not written specifically for any method. Like, I don't write out magic loop or DPNs or mini circulars. What I do is I try to make it neutral. So basically, when you start the sock, the pattern tells you this is where your beginning of the round is, and this is where the side of the sock, the middle of the sock is. So you identify the front and the back, and these are your reference points, basically. And so the whole sock instructions are based on that. So this way, if you are not knitting, if you can knit them with any method you like, and you don't have to reinterpret the instructions. So yeah, that's how I like to write my sock designs. And I used Mondim sock yarn, which is Retrostaria's sock yarn, 100% Portuguese wools, in those 3 colors. And yes, you do have some floats to catch, by the way, so it's not like, they're not really pretty, but they're comfy. And this is where I'm woving my ends, so it's even uglier. But yeah, the Quetzal socks are now available, and yeah, you can check out my testers versions to see different color things. It's quite funny, especially there are 2 things that I noticed. The first one is, if your cuff color and the one that makes the outline of the shapes is actually your lighter color, it gives a completely different look and it's really fun. I kind of like it. And also it's really fun to use variegated yarns inside as your third color inside the little shapes here. So yeah. Yes, I wanted them to be like a fun little pairs of socks that you can have something interesting, maybe learn how to do this, and then just easy, smooth sailing rib once you've passed the learning curve of this. But again, it's not something that's complicated at all. And yeah, so this is Quetzal. And I now have a full alphabet of my designs because I think it was last summer, I noticed that the designer Anna Johanna, which is the Finnish independent designer, which does lots of really nice colorwork design. She has a really beautiful book out as well. I think it was last summer, she counted like how many patterns she had which were named with a letter starting with each letter of the alphabet, basically. And she had some sort of promotion, but there's also a French designer which specifically does an alphabet with her designs. Her name is L de Mag. I'm not sure if her designs are translated into English. I'm not certain. I don't think so, but maybe I'm wrong. And it just got me thinking, like, do I have I was just curious to see if I had a full alphabet, and I almost did. I was just missing a few letters, including the letter Q, because it's kind of hard. But now actually I'm gonna have two designs, this one and another one coming in February that will start with Q. But yeah, here we are. We have a full alphabet. And yeah, so Quetzal. I hope you like them. If you do, like I said, they're available on PeachyB and on Ravelry. And on Ravelry, they are 15% off for the release until Sunday. So that's it. I'm very sorry if you can hear the dog barking. It's like everyone is against me this morning. I just wanted to film a nice podcast with the window open because the air is fresh and it was nice. Then, of course, someone started some sort of electrical device. Then the dog started barking. Not my dogs. My dogs are well behaving. They don't bark. They only bark when they're afraid, which admittedly is in a lot of situations. Like they don't like the owl when they sing because they were traumatized because they saw the owl at night once fly and it's like really big and they're really scared of it. So when they hear it now, they're scared. They don't like when we close the shower door because it makes a noise. They don't like when there's wind, which is really practical when you live in a corridor where the wind rushes through and it's a very windy place and they don't like the wind. But yeah, they're not the one barking. The silly neighbor's dogs are barking. But I hope you cannot hear them. And stop the ramble. And I'm going to move on to my work in progress, which is another sock. And we're going from colorwork to lace because I started a new sock design. I wanted to make a sock version of my Atlantica sweater. So the Atlantica sweater is a sweater design with an all-over lace motif that was published in Pom Pom magazine last autumn. It is coming individually soonish, in a few weeks or months. I have to double check, and I will release it on its own as soon as I can. And I had the idea of making socks. Actually, my friend Deborah, which is a dyer behind Les Petites Potions, which is like my whole podcast is just a PR stunt for her, basically. She's a dyer that lives close to me and I really like her work. And she had the idea, she asked me if she could make socks out of how I was thinking it would work with the Atlantica lace motif. And at the same time, I had the idea of making a design like this. And so we kind of converged, and that's why I decided to use her really beautiful yarn for it. So this is her sock base, typical merino nylon base in the lichen colorway, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's like a yellowy green. It's really bright. I absolutely adore this color. I think it's so beautiful, but I don't think it looks so good with my skin tone. It's not terrible, but I'm not convinced. On my feet it's fine, because it's far away from my face. Yeah, I finished one, and basically, yeah, I'm gonna make it cuff down, and yeah, you can have the lace motif here on the top of the foot. I didn't put it at the back of the leg, because too much. It's quite the lace motif, so that's how it looks. I changed it a bit to be on the top of the foot. I mirrored the two cables here, and that's how it is. I did twisted ribbing. As far as bubbles on socks go, because I've done a few sock designs with bubbles on them, and it depends on the yarn and the type of bubbles, but the bubbles I do, usually they're not knitted bubbles, you know, you're not going back and forth and created a fabric that is then all big and tightened. This is basically just loops of yarns tied together, and so I've tried the other bubbled socks I have in shoes, and it depends on the shoes if they're really tight or not. But if not, it doesn't bother me, because they smoosh down very easily. So it's not a problem for me. Also, I mostly wear my knitted socks indoors, because I run hot easily if I'm out and about walking and things. So usually if I'm outside walking with shoes, I probably will not be wearing hand knit socks unless I'm going somewhere where it's going to be very, very cold. But if not, I mostly wear my socks at home, and so bubbles don't bother me. But it's very personal. And yeah, I absolutely love how it looks in sock yarn. It's so gorgeous. And yeah, so one is done. And I started the second one, and I've already done one repeat for the leg. And yeah, so I plan to have them released in early December, which is why I picked a color that was so bright, because I thought it would be like a fun little pick-me-up color at the beginning of winter. Because I don't know, I look at this color and it makes me happy for some reason. It's like really, yeah, it's really nice. And yeah, I do really like the Atlantica lace motif. And yeah, I was thinking, if you were on the fence about making the sweater because you think it would be too much, well, maybe the socks can help you try out the lace. I do plan as well on making a cardigan version of it at some point. I would like to make a V-neck cardigan with the lace only on the front. But that would have to be in like 2024. I sat down the other day and tried to plan out 2022's designs, roughly. And yeah, it's already filled up, and I still have like 2 or 3 design ideas that I didn't fit in, but it's okay, because I'm planning to like slow a bit and have enough have enough time before, like, what's the word for it? Have my things ready in advance enough that I will be able to work on more spontaneous designs, because now the issue, which is terrible, my life is so hard, right? The issue is now that if I have an idea for a design, I can't knit it right now because I have a few things that need to be done by a certain deadline if I want things to go smoothly. So I'm working towards shifting that, so that now if I have a design idea, I can do it right now instead of putting it at the bottom of the wait list of all the previous ideas I had before and also couldn't do right away. So that should be able to change, and I should be able to work more, to incorporate more spurge of the moment design ideas in my schedule for 2022. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's it for the Atlantica socks. And I wanted to show you the mystery knit along. Yes, because right now we are running the Sypha MKAL, so a mystery knit along, which is basically a few weeks ago. I posted a pattern without showing you what it was, and the idea was that you would discover the pattern bit by bit. And so since September 10, I am releasing once per week a bit of the design, revealing each clue, and yeah, with a surprise every time. So it is a colorwork cowl with an elemental theme, so each of the clue has a drawing of a symbol related to the elements. And so I'm recording this way in advance. I'm recording this before I even send out the first clue. I'm gonna send it out tomorrow. So maybe you're gonna see this podcast and I'm all like, yay, it's cool, it's nice, pretty drawings and stuff. And I'm gonna send it tomorrow and everyone is gonna hate me and think it's ugly. But I think it will be okay. But yeah, I'm recording it in advance because I really wanted to show you the Atlantica socks, and I know I'm gonna finish it tomorrow or today. And so yeah, podcast recording schedule. And so yeah, I wanted to reveal to you the first clue of the mystery knit along. So if you're if you don't want to get spoiled, if you haven't seen it yet, well then don't look away, close your eyes. But if you have been waiting to see what the first clues look like, to see if you would like to get the pattern and join the mystery knit along, well, now is the time. And I'm gonna try and hold it because I had to fold it down not to reveal the rest of the design. And so, ta-da! So this is the first clue of the mystery knit along. This is fire. So as you can see, basically you have like transitions in between each clue with this geometric lines made in the second contrast color or not. It depends on your color choice. And then you have this frame with the symbol. And so this was fire. And I sort of went for some hard triangle things to sort of be like rocky, melty volcano stuff. And yeah, you have some embers with the little crosses everywhere. And then basically these are tails of bird from a traditional motif that I cut and mirrored, and so it sort of looks like a flames and a phoenix, I'm not sure. But yeah, so this is the fire motif for the mystery knit along that is running at the moment. So this was the first clue, and yes, if you like it, basically, if you like that, you will like the rest of the motif because they're pretty much in the same vibe, and it's all in harmony. I try to, at least. And yeah, so if you would like to join the mystery knit along now, the pattern is still at a reduced price on Ravelry until mid-October. So only when the design will be fully revealed and it will be released as a normal pattern, it will revert to its normal price. But for now, it's still at a discount on Ravelry if you like that and you would like to get the pattern and follow the knit along or not. But yeah, so that's it for the mystery knit along reveal. And I wanted to finish with a little yarn haul because I have been, like I said, to a yarn event in Grenoble, which is in the mountainous eastern area of France. And I went there with Deborah, which is the dyer behind Les Petites Potions. Again, PR stunt for her completely. And we went there together because she had like a trunk show there. She was a vendor at the event. And yeah, so I'm gonna spare you the trip. Deborah and I were really not lucky. Twice we have been to yarn events together in driving there. And twice we had a really horrible, hard and dangerous trip because of a really nasty storm. So, summer storms in the south of France are not fun. Well, I'm saying that, and right now I know that in the United States they're like really nasty. Typhoon? How do you say? Because I know it's like cyclones. There's 3 different words in French for these types of really nasty storm, and it depends on where they are in the world. But yeah, if you're at all concerned by this and the flooding, I hope you are okay and safe. And yeah, I suppose you're not watching knitting podcasts if you're in this situation, but yeah. In any case, we had a nasty storm, and yeah, later I saw on the news that it was like 2 months rain dropped in 1 hour, and I was like, yes, we saw. So yeah, we were in the highway and we couldn't see 5 meters in front of the cars with like trumps of rains and it wouldn't go. Basically, we had like a huge portion of the road where we stopped and we waited to see if it would pass, and it didn't. So we took 9 hours to get there instead of 5. It's like, it's so impossible. Like, it happened to us twice. And it's like the one day when we're on the road, it's the one day where the storm happens. It's like, how likely is that? I'm like, who's so unlucky? Like, I have my ideas, like, but seriously, because I was writing to my friends who were also going to the yarn event, and I was writing to the shop owner to tell her that we would be late, and I thought, like, they're gonna think we're lying because it's so not possible. Unbelievable. But we got there eventually, and we spent a really lovely afternoon in Grenoble. The knitting community around there is really nice and welcoming, and like it's a really nice place to be. And so I just wanted to show you the little bits of yarn that I got. Well, I got mostly yarn from Deborah because I had 2 rolls, and I'm going into another yarn event in Lyon, by the way, because this is more likely that if you're at all in Europe, in the center of Europe, in the first weekend of October, it's gonna be the Knit Eat in Lyon again. And Lyon is very accessible by plane or train if you're like in Germany or in the Netherlands or Denmark or these sort of countries. It's very accessible, or Italy, etc. So yeah, if it's a really good yarn event, you just need to have the pass because of the COVID pandemic. So well, there's that this year, but it's finally happening again. It's been pushed back. It happened once in 2019, and then of course, sadly, it couldn't happen again during the pandemic. But now is the new normally is the new edition of the event, and I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, just if you're looking for a yarn event that is like in the center of Europe, this might be it. And my rule for these events right now, for these festivals and saloons, because we say salon in French, but we don't say saloon. It's not a saloon. Not the same thing. But show, yarn show. Okay. I decided 2 project quantities maximum, maybe 3 if really I cannot resist. And I wanted to have specific colors. I want to focus on getting burgundy, purple, and dark green yarns, because I love these colors, and I realized I didn't work with them a lot. So I'm gonna focus on that. I don't think I succeeded color-wise. You'll tell me. So the first yarn I wanted to show you is these for a colorwork project. We were playing around making color combination with my friends, and of course this happened. I think this works, right? Because it's burgundy and purple. So this works. This is her yak base, so it's merino silk and yak, which I really like, and of course it gives gorgeous sheen to the colors. It's a decay weight, and it's the Philtre colorway. And of course I had to add this one, which kind of messes it up, right? Because if I just had this, and you're like, yes, my color scheme, my color rule is respected, but then I add this, which is so typical of me. But yeah, this is Butterelle, which I really like, because it's not a caramel, it's not an ochre, it's not a golden beige, it's really peculiar, and I absolutely love it, and I think it goes absolutely wonderfully together, obviously. And so the idea was to make a colorwork design sometime in 2025, right? And I kind of wanted a third color, but I couldn't find something in the decay yak base that she had available. There were greens, but then I thought it would be too Halloween. Not that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not what I wanted. But then I spotted this. And this is her Originale base, which I've used before and really like. It's a marled fingering weight, non-superwash. Very plump yarn. Basically, it has that black ply from time to time. And this is her PeachyB, trying to avoid the YouTube algorithm catching up on that word. But yeah, it's a peach color. And yeah, I thought it was fun. Because it's gonna be okay gauge-wise, because this is very plump. Maybe I will hold it double, but I might not have to, depending on the gauge that I have. And I thought, like, I could make something with, okay, so this is gonna be my main color, right? And if I make, like, geometric motifs with this, a bit like, sort of like this, but my idea was to have proper geometric motif, not necessarily random. And then inside of those motifs, I could have this. Or I could do something like stripy and colorwork. I don't know. I don't know yet, but I think it will make a fun colorwork jumper. I was thinking like a big yoke with like the colorwork in until the middle of the body or something. And yeah, so some color inspiration for you. And then the second yarn project I planned for, I failed color-wise, because I was looking for some decay weight, because I want to make colorwork mittens for my Patreons. It's gonna be a little surprise design for the holidays for Patreon, and I almost like ripped myself. And I was looking for some decay weight, two colors that I could make work together, and I tried to take like a purple and then see what I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the right color. And then I saw this. I was like, this is too cute and way too perfect. And so, yeah, not at all the colors I said I would pick, but this is Fonty Tartan. Fonty is a French mill that has a lot of really cool yarns. And this is 100% wool. This is superwash wool. They have two lines that are quite similar, the Tartan and the Nimbus. The Nimbus is non-superwash and woolen span, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, it's not. It's worsted span, I think. It's just non-superwash. And maybe it's the plying that's different. I don't know. But this is the superwash version of it. And yes, this is a decay weight in the colorway 2023. And this is another dyer that was selling at the yarn event. Her yarns were at the shop. This is Vilaine. Well, it won't focus. Too bad. You can't see the cute logo. This is her decay weight. It's a decay merino. And this is a tomato throwing colorway. She has fun colorway names. And I just thought it was really nice and cute. And so yeah, this will become colorwork mittens for Patreon, which I will probably show you when I will be knitting them. And then I have some fiber, because fiber doesn't count. It doesn't matter that my fiber stash is getting ridiculous. That's not true. Because Deborah, come back. Les Petites Potions also had a bunch of fiber that she dyed. She dyed one-of-a-kind fibers, and I absolutely love her fiber dyeing. It's like, it's lovely, and it's nice also because she really loves dyeing fiber, she told me, and I discussed this with her, and I find it really interesting to chat with dyers about what they like to do, because they all like to do different things. And I had this fake idea in my mind that fiber would be harder and more demanding to dye than yarn, but actually it's not the case for Deborah and the way that she does it. It's not that she loves it because it's easier. She loves it, and it's also a bit easier for her, it seems, with her process. And I just find it really interesting to see all the different ways dyers work. And I got these two beautiful little bundle of fibers. So this is merino, something that shines, glitz, and viscose. It's gonna be a pain to spin, right? Because so spinning wise, if you're new here, hello, you're probably very confused because I have a tendency to not explain myself and have a lot of inside jokes and references to past things that I don't explain, and so it's really impossible to catch new people here. Anyway, I've been spinning on a spindle for 6 years now. Yes, I was going to say 5, but now it's 6. Spinning on a spindle, I really love it, and I love it, but it's not the best for my shoulder and elbow. And so I got a spinning wheel for Christmas last year, and I really love it. And I've been practicing on it, but like, I'm not intensely working on it. I'm taking it pretty easy and as a relaxing moment, and I love it. But I'm still pretty much learning how to get the hang of it, how to get the right twist in the yarn, and how I feel with different yarns, right? I've noticed that things with white stuff in it ain't working. But this looks like it's pretty well, white stuff, I mean this, which is usually the plant-based things that are harder to spin for some reason. But this looks like it's pretty well blended in, so we'll see. In any case, it's really beautiful. And this is a BFL yarn. And these are the colors I said I would buy, so I did that right. Yes, I already have probably 5 or 6 fibers already in those shades, but it's not the same because they're also individual. So I have tried spinning BFL a few times, and for some reason I find it harder than I thought it would be. I need to figure out what's wrong and why it's harder for me to spin BFL, because it's a fiber I really love and I find it so versatile. So yeah. That's it for the little yarn inspiration haul, and yeah. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching it. I will see you again in the beginning of October for like some really fun autumnal big projects that will come out. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a very happy end of the day, evening, etc. And I will see you next time. Bye!